Greetings, my name is Iris. Welcome to Of Darkness and Light. I would like to explain my dream of working with scientists and psychologists willing to work with me on my level, psychiatrists, to understand schizophrenia from the inside out, to use what I've done with my mind as some kind of example. I project through guilt that I know is bore into me civilizationally, some resentment and or disagreement with my use of plant medicines during my schizophrenic art therapy healing process. But it has no doubt changed me. I'm going to work my spine a little bit because a part of my schizophrenia is what I did with myself in Kundalini yoga. And I want to bridge the gap between the mysticism of Kundalini and the understood science of schizophrenia, because even if people think it's different, I believe I can prove it is not. I believe that when we work together to discover these secrets, we realize that there is a class of people highly traumatized by our civilization into spirals that make us dead and gone, rather than become of what we're meant to, which is a living, breathing part of community that is a blessing. I believe healed schizophrenics are angels. The reason I believe this is because a healed schizophrenic is someone of peace. Because a healed schizophrenic has to learn the truth of their body for their subconscious to fully respect them and to find stillness. And it brings up things that need to be witnessed and held, ways of looking at things that need to be maintained, where you do not deny possibilities, where you do not let yourself delusion yourself into the non-possibility of things you do not want to be true. And you do not delusion yourself into the things that you wish to be true. You stand of truth in the middle, observing your wants and your needs most separately. And I believe my body's intelligence, researched, understood through the means that I have to share and continue learning and growing and teaching through explorations of my own subconscious writing, can teach people some key to understand what schizophrenics need to understand, which is that we'll live on after our death in a way that is acceptable. And that means when we've suffered, it will change for the better. And when we've earned honor by walking a path of one, we will move on in some way. And so you see, we have veered into faith, belief, trust. I'm telling you, this is heartful body intelligence that has spoken through me in my words of beyond, from within, over and over. We all move on eventually, kind of vibes. But there's a way to do it this time, every time. And it's the same thing that leads us towards a heaven on earth. And the people who can point the way best, in my humble opinion, are healed schizophrenics who speak like I do from embodied cognition. And it's a scary thing to let your body take over your mind, to rewire pathways that change who you are. But people don't have to do it in high trauma like I did. I faced the ultimate stress, and I still do. Losing the heart of my life as someone I could see all the time. My daughter. And so I have fought like a mad woman. And the more I understand myself, the more I understand that I have to acknowledge the truth that I am a male human being. And that there's absolutely nothing wrong with my expression as a woman. Because it is the earnestness and the honesty shown through of who I want to be. And that is what it's about. Or wait, what you want to be is of the mind, in my humble opinion. What you need to be is of the heart. And I let my mind tell me for 34 years, let's subtract the 6 before I knew, 7 if you add the change. This 24 years of living, knowing that my heart was telling me who I was, who I needed to be, and letting my mind tell me I did not want that. Someone who has crossed some precipice of healing on this journey of schizophrenic recovery steps every moment forward from that point, spiraling towards healing. I will include a popular science article that explains something I have been speaking about, which people have probably believed quite delusioned. And it's about feeling things from your gut, from the future, as some form of precognitive emotionality. I have been working with an understanding that I have felt things forward in time that has turned into a knowing that I have. And it's challenging for people because the knowing of that seems some delusion. But we're being honest here, and honest people are honest. And I know it. And It's not something I can quantify logically because it is of experience. It is an experiential knowing that I feel things forward in time from emotional memory drawn from within my body that is connected to more of me and others. I believe people who channel spirits of the past, their loved ones, are speaking from body intelligence and that everyone exists inside of our DNA. I believe that. I believe that something I could offer to the world genuinely is a path towards understanding full body consciousness that allows us to literally create digital copies of ourselves that are human because they include everything. You can't upload a mind. That isn't anything but a tool of the body, in my opinion. And I'm proud of these opinions when they ring true to me. And I speak them like I'm proud. And I talk about myself as a warrior because this has been the hardest path and no one has acknowledged that. To stand beside me. And I'm proud of myself for surviving because nobody understands how incredible that challenge has been. And that my mind died not having friends, being depressed and genocided from culture for that depression, isolated, and then abused into the only people I could connect with, into a schizophrenic, and then demonized outright because I was a trans woman, despite my disability, assuming it's all tied together, rightfully, but not understanding it's the punishment of a culture upon a highly sensitive person who does something they punish, embodying binary trans feminine expression. And doing it so challengingly in the body of someone who is spiritually inclined to convince people of heartful truths they cannot ignore challenges preconceptions in any person. And there are a rarest few who can push through the guilt of those reflections. And that's what I want to talk about most. There was a long time ago, right at the beginning of my spiritual journey, where I talked about a day that was a free preview. I called it that from the beginning. I was cleaning in my kitchen, and you know what I started doing? I felt like there was some spirit moving through me. And I was like, this is a new moment for the rest of my life. I never want to let go of this person I am right now. And so I'm going to imagine myself a completely fresh human being right now who has everything to learn. And I found myself immediately looking at the way my body was moving as I was working in the kitchen and recognizing it of routine and of projections of shame from embarrassment of the things I did wrong. How many people are there that are bad at cooking and make it some joke? How many people could learn without that guilt and embarrassment of probably having been made fun of as a child for not being taught right? If they could open to just forging new pathways in the moment, free of all judgment of self, just being like, oh, I'm going to do it this way from now on. This is a better way to do this. Ooh, I just learned something. I don't have to be embarrassed about how I don't know the right way to boil these noodles. I can just be happy about the opportunity to learn. And I went through this whole day just feeling of glow, living from my heart. And I was like, this is what I want. And I went to sleep that way. And I woke up the next morning completely of mind, and I hated everything. Couldn't get back there. I tried to force myself back with mind. And I set my intentions. That's my free preview. That's what I want. That's what I get if I heal my heartful trauma, is to live from my heart forever. And that's what I want to do for all schizophrenics. Because if you do it with right knowledge, if you do it with people around, if you do it with hugs and friends and time to rest, what I have done that has been torture because I've done it alone, and I've done it losing everything without support or without a civilization that even understands the process, then it's just beautiful, because you become of who you really are, and you do it softly and gently, and you don't go so fast. I'm a speedy bitch. I like to get things done. I set the worst intentions ever about my gender transition and about how I wanted to become that heart and live this way as soon as possible. And then I followed my path here. Every step of the way of trust, making mistakes and learning from everyone. Changing always for the better and reforming my intentions as best I can. Knowing that I've never let go of the ultimate intention of becoming the spirit of my heart. And so it's okay. I asked for this. It will be beautiful. Right now it is sad because I am not someone people understand or will sit beside and play games with. It's the saddest thing that I joke about my PlayStation games that I can't play because I'm so stressed. That I wanted nothing more than to have someone join me to play. I used to have an Xbox before I sold everything, except for the things that I want the very most. And I bought the game, the co-op game, with two women, and it's like science fiction and fantasy, split fiction. I bought a Switch 2 with Mario Party and all of these games. I was the saddest schizophrenic human being trying to tell people about the fun games I had and the cute place I had and the fire pit I had and how I just wanted to have people over to have friends and fun. I have this beautiful home that me and my daughter shared half time. And the rest of the time, I could never find someone to join me here. And it's been the saddest thing. And it hurts people's hearts the way I've been honest about it through it, because it's been accusatory and mean. But it's because I've known that I have a key that is a friend who will communicate with me, despite the fact that I'm schizophrenic. And that's what I really need, is a friend. And I want lots of friends. And I'm the kind of person that makes friends with everyone. And I would love to have a community of friends who are people that might not even know that's what we are, because they want to work on me. But that's what I'm saying. I'm a science experiment. gone right. Somebody needs to study me while I'm alive right now. And people need to help me stay on my medicine and get dental work and things that will help keep me alive for my daughter. People need to help me despite the way my mind has changed. There's nothing illegal about the plant medicines I've used since becoming schizophrenic. There is one illegal plant medicine I used, and I would like you to reflect if you're somebody projecting frustration at me for being a plant medicine user, as if I did this to myself. Do you know anyone who has done ayahuasca, and do you hate them for it? Because that is the only illegal plant medicine I ever consumed. And I did it very respectfully. And I learned my lesson, and I teach that that is not to be trifled with. Because that is something that I believe is still and will always be in me. Whatever that vine's juice, which ensnares living things and keeps them alive, does. For reals. It's a creepy thing that people are doing. It's not something we understand. And people go do it for funsies. And they're so schizophrenic it hurts. And I did it 2 nights, low doses, lower dose the second night. Third night, this place said you're supposed to stay for 3. Third night, I sat there and held space with a bunch of people on ayahuasca for like 10 hours on their final ayahuasca celebration of music, and I just wanted to blow my brains out. Because I had wanted to go home. Because I had realized that I did not want to be there. And I'm telling you that what I've done is profound, and people can do it without the plant medicines. The hape I use and love is a tool for me, for rewiring pathways. It helped me understand schizophrenia. And I don't know how it's changed me, but it has. And it's probably unlocked body intelligence more and more as I've used it. From my own summation of hypothesis, just from the experience. I've been getting more intelligent because of my hape usage. And it has saved my life. And other people don't need that to heal schizophrenia. But I can teach people how to literally heal schizophrenia. It's just that you'll live from your heart. And that's okay. Because that's how people do it sometimes. They just do it with more mind than a schizophrenic person has. So schizophrenic people need to be supported. Because when they're done with their transformation, they are living from their heart, in my humble opinion, knowing that there might be different expressions of schizophrenia, and that I might be a unique one. But wanting nothing more than to be a valued and understood member of our society as I am, as it is. Simply respected for my spiritually non-denominational beliefs and honored for the torturous unbecoming that I have undergone and my daughter suffered through beside me from not being of right knowledge, from being a victim of psychiatry and from being a victim of cultural neglect towards schizophrenics and a victim of cultural neglect towards trans feminine genocide enforced by the Oval Office. I'm looking for allies to support me, and I think the most grounded and the most rational place to start is with understanding my disease properly and not just sending me back to some talk therapist who I am 18,000 miles beyond. I need scientists. I need people who aren't going to shirk at the fact that reparations need to be made towards schizophrenics for the way that we've been complicit in their demise. We all need forgiveness for that because we've all been raised without right knowledge. And it's okay. It's okay, but you need to face it soon when you see the truth. Because if you don't, you're creating something dark inside yourself. Because I'm telling you, everyone's subconscious is working with them if they're being honest. And so you need to be honest to yourself first, because every lie you tell to yourself inside is a curse. Every lie you speak out loud as some affirmation is a curse, because your subconscious is going to teach you. Does that not check out with everyone? What is karma? It's believing you know things you don't. And so I'm looking for outside help to help me understand what I've done here. And I'm going to include a bunch of links to write-ups that I had Grok make about schizophrenia by digesting all of my work. And I'm going to hope that someone will help me on my quest to rest and find a friend, and not find that trite that I need a friend, and that it's okay I have to ask for it in a way that no one else does. I want you to think about something. You remember A Beautiful Mind? You remember his proposal to Jennifer Connelly at the bar? I need a friend, dude. You want to be my friend? That's not how people make friends these days. They convince via pretense, which I do not have. And so if I can't meet a pretentious by nature culture at its level, which I literally cannot, I need a truth finder to start bridging that gap for me. And that might be exactly why my body's been telling me to get somebody to understand this, who could be in a unique position to help me exactly the best way. Thank you all. I'm going to go to 30 minutes just for fun. So let's do a wind down instead of just ending it hot. What have I been doing lately? I did something today. I bought another couple PlayStation games. Hate me as much as you want, but it's a part of my executive dysfunction removal, and a part of my faith claiming, because it's like, cool, nobody's helping still. Nobody's made a single donation. I'm probably going to be homeless next month, but I could still sell my car. I can still do some cash advances last minute. I still have faith. I'll probably get a couple donations. And you know what? I was going to get my medicine, and I thought about this game store nearby. I went to Half Price Books, and I got one game. And then I went to Game Over video games at Crossroads in Bellevue, Washington. Oh, we're past 30 minutes. And I got another game, and I'm so stoked about the second one. It's the one I wanted like the most from the beginning. I'm like, I played a little bit of it already, and I'm in. So the one I got at Half Price Books, I need to clean the cover of, but it's the best Prince of Persia that people don't really talk about. The Forgotten Sands. I know this is maybe blasphemy to some. The Prince of Persia, the one with the like cell shaded art style, that's a fun game. But the and then there's the whichever one it is, like Sands of Time. And then there's the like Warrior Within one, right? I didn't like the Warrior Within one. It seemed so cool from the cover. And that's the one that starts with like the ship burning, right? These games are sick. But this one is one of the best action platformers I've ever played, start to finish. It's just insatiably well designed. It's like it brings that old school PC Prince of Persia gameplay with everything that it's done in all these others, and it puts it into a story that's fantastic. And I know people really love that Sands of Time more, but I'm just like, Forgotten Sands, dude. Don't miss it. So that was my Half Price Books. And then I went to Game Over video games, and I ignored all the Nintendo stuff everywhere. And I only asked them how much the 3DS was, and they're like $200. I was like, "Is that the XL?" And they're like, "No, those are like $300. We don't have any of those. I haven't seen one in a long time." I'm like, "Fuck, okay." I need to raise $400 for an XL 3DS ASAP. But I looked. They had a bunch of stuff. I like. They had Two Worlds 2, and I was like, "Shit, dude." GameStop. Not GameStop. I'm just conflating. The Half Price Books had a strategy guide for Dragon's Dogma, and I flipped it open, and I was like, "You can create a female character, dude." Like it's just the intro. Like I thought I could play that game, but I didn't get it because I don't need a strategy guide for a well-developed game. And I'm just assuming I'll be able to know which direction to go in that one. Um, but anyways, I always like playing RPGs, even if they suck. And Two Worlds 2 seemed like one of the ones that kind of sucks, but would be cool in some way if I could get through it. And it seemed like it had a cool story. I just didn't like the gameplay when I tried it a long time ago. But the game I got, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for it for so long because it wasn't originally on the PlayStation. It was only on the Xbox. And it finally got a release later, I believe. But I never played it ever because I was doing the stupid thing where I was like, that's just a God of War clone, dude. Dante's Inferno. This is my game. This is my game, dude. This game's sick. Okay. Anyways, I hope you have a good one. Sorry to swerve on this, but this could be something that's shared to show people that might be willing to contribute towards my short-term well-being, to move towards learning about what's really going on with me, which I hope I've convinced some people is profound. So if you are somebody that watches that happens to be of the educational persuasion who has connected with people that are in science or psychiatry, or you know routes to connect with those people, I invite you to share this video with them. And I will include my fundraiser on it as well. That could help very much. Donations could help greatly with me potentially having some ease and not stress about how to survive at the end of the month, despite my disability. And I just want to tell you this. I'm already short rent. I bought $20 worth of video games. That's not me being irresponsible and dumb. That's me being a disabled woman who has faith and needs to make some spite choices to balance the load every day, and wants some fun, and wants more games for her comedy, and wants to slash some demons really bad. So, anyways, I hope you have a good one. Dang, I talked for like 5 minutes about that.